Okay, so let's kick things off. Imagine this for a second. You're maybe planning a big family event, something important.
Right.
You've got all the details sorted, the guest list, the venue, everything. Then someone with, let's say, broader authority steps in,
Mhm.
and they start dictating specifics, maybe the menu or the schedule, and it doesn't quite fit, doesn't fit what you need.
Yeah, that feeling of losing control over your own patch, essentially.
Exactly. That exact feeling, that loss of control over your domain, that's kind of at the heart of what seems to be happening right now in Tamil Nadu.
It's a really good analogy, actually. It captures that tension, that dynamic between different levels of authority perfectly. Who decides what?
Right. And this brings us to April 15th,
Yeah.
just recently, 2025. The chief minister there, MK Stalin, he announced something pretty significant.
Not just routine stuff.
No, definitely not. He's setting up a new high-level committee, and the goal here is, well, quite ambitious.
Okay. What are they aiming for?
They're tasked with figuring out how to reclaim state rights. Rights they believe have been sort of chipped away by the central government over time.
Ah, so it's framed as reclaiming lost ground, essentially. A real pushback.
You could definitely call it a tug of war. It's framed as a serious move to reassert state autonomy.
Which really gets to the core of India's federal structure, doesn't it? That constant negotiation between the center and the states.
Precisely. The central issue here is state autonomy versus what they see as, well, central government overreach into areas traditionally handled by the state.
And they put together a specific body to look into this systematically. Who's on this committee? Are they, heavy hitters?
Oh, absolutely. It's not just political appointments. You've got a former Supreme Court judge, Kurian Joseph. That brings serious legal weight.
Wow. Okay. A Supreme Court judge.
Yeah,
That signals intent.
definitely. Then there's Ashok Vardhan Shetty, a retired IAS officer. So deep bureaucratic experience, knows the system inside out.
Right. The practical administrative side.
And rounding it out is M. Naganathan. He's the former vice chairman of the State Planning Commission. So the economic planning perspective is covered too.
So legal, administrative, economic, a pretty well-rounded team. It does underscore the seriousness, like you said.
Yeah, they seem determined to approach this from all angles.
So what's the specific mission? What are they actually going to do?
Their main job is to investigate how Tamil Nadu can, well, regain these powers. Specifically, they'll be poring over the state list and the concurrent list in the Constitution.
Okay, maybe we should quickly explain those for anyone not familiar.
Good idea. So the state list, that basically covers areas where the state government has the primary power to make laws. Think local policing, agriculture, things very specific to that state.
Stuff that needs local tailoring, you could say.
Exactly. And the concurrent list.
That's where both the center and the states can make laws. Things like education, marriage, forestry, that kind of thing. Shared jurisdiction.
Right. And it's that concurrent list, that shared space, where a lot of the friction seems to arise. Who gets the final say?
Because when both can legislate, conflicts can happen.
And Tamil Nadu's argument, as I understand it, is that too many important subjects have either moved to the concurrent list or the center is just exerting more influence even within that shared list.
So the committee's job is to map that out and suggest ways to perhaps shift the balance back.
That seems to be the core task, find ways to reclaim that ground. They've got 2 years for a final report.
2 years. That's a decent amount of time for a deep dive.
It is, but they're also expected to give an interim report much sooner, by January 2026.
Ah, okay, so we'll get a preview relatively soon. That'll be interesting to see the initial findings, the direction they're heading.
Definitely. It'll give us the first real glimpse. Now, to really get why this is happening, why the feeling is so strong, we probably need a concrete example.
Yeah, abstract concepts are one thing, but what's the real-world impact?
I think the big one, the one everyone talks about, is NEET, the National Eligibility Come Entrance Test for Medical School Admissions.
Ah, yes. NEET. That's been a major, major point of contention for Tamil Nadu for years now. It's become almost symbolic.
Hugely symbolic. Tamil Nadu has consistently argued against it. They say it disadvantages students from rural areas, poorer backgrounds, those who can't afford expensive coaching classes.
Right, the equity argument, that it favors urban, more privileged students.
Exactly. Their argument is that their old system, based mainly on Class 12 marks, was actually fairer for their population mix.
And they did commission a study on this, didn't they?
They did. The A.K. Rajan Committee back in 2021, and its report basically backed up their concerns, showing data on how NEET seemed to skew admissions towards well, more privileged groups compared to the previous system.
So they have data they point to. It's not just an ideological stance. It's based on their analysis of the impact.
Right. But despite all this opposition, all the arguments, the data, their efforts to get an exemption from NEET haven't worked.
They've tried to pass legislation, I recall.
Yes, and most recently, literally just this April, April 4th, 2025, the president rejected Tamil Nadu's bill seeking exemption.
Oof, that must have landed hard.
Very hard. Chief Minister Stalin called it a dark chapter in federalism. That's strong language.
It really is. It speaks volumes about the depth of frustration, that feeling of being ignored by the central authority. It's more than just policy disagreement at that point.
Absolutely. It touches on that core federal balance issue. And constitutionally, how did the center get such a big say in this anyway?
Well, that goes back to a major constitutional change, the 42nd Amendment in 1976.
During the emergency.
Yes. And one key thing it did was move education from the state list, where states had primary control, to the concurrent list.
So opening the door for the central government to legislate more directly on education policy nationwide.
Precisely. And that's the constitutional basis the center uses for things like implementing NEET nationally. Tamil Nadu sees that shift itself as a key moment where state autonomy was diluted.
Got it. So NEET is a flashpoint, but it stems from that broader constitutional change regarding education.
Exactly. And that's why this new committee isn't just about NEET, even though NEET is, maybe the most visible symptom for them.
Right. You mentioned they're looking at the lists more broadly.
Yes, their mandate is wider. They're supposed to examine other subjects too,
Right.
things beyond education that were moved from the state list to the concurrent list over the years.
Okay, so it's a much bigger picture they're looking at, a potential reevaluation across different sectors.
It suggests a more fundamental concern about the overall balance of power, not just fixing the NEET issue.
And this isn't entirely new ground for Tamil Nadu, is it? I feel like I remember hearing about previous efforts.
You're right. There's historical context. Way back in 1971, they formed the Rajamanar Committee.
Rajamanar, okay.
Yeah, and its goal was very similar, recommending greater state autonomy. Now, its recommendations weren't really implemented back then, but it shows this isn't a sudden issue for them.
It establishes a precedent, a long-standing aspiration, perhaps.
Exactly. It's a recurring theme in their political discourse.
And presumably other states might be watching this development quite closely.
Oh, I would think so. Definitely. We know other states, like Kerala, for instance, have also raised issues with NEET.
And West Bengal often voices strong opinions on states' rights, too.
For sure. So, yes, Tamil Nadu's move here could potentially resonate elsewhere. It might, encourage a broader conversation or even a movement among states seeking a rebalancing.
A potential ripple effect across the country.
That's possible. But it's not going to be easy, obviously.
No, you'd expect challenges. Legal battles, perhaps. Political friction with the center is almost guaranteed.
Absolutely. And then there's always the role of the governor, which can be a point of tension in center-state relations.
We saw that recently in Tamil Nadu, didn't we? With the Supreme Court stepping in regarding Governor R.N. Ravi delaying bills.
Exactly. That case itself highlights the kind of friction that already exists and the potential obstacles this committee's work and any subsequent action by the state might face. It involves courts, politics, the Constitution. It's complex.
It really is. So wrapping this up, this whole situation in Tamil Nadu, setting up this committee, it really forces us to think about that bigger question, doesn't it?
The fundamental structure.
Yeah. In a country as huge and diverse as India, what is the right balance? How much power should the center have, and how much should the states have?
It's the perennial question of federalism.
Is the current setup really working for everyone? For all the different regions, their unique needs, their aspirations?
There are no easy answers, are there? It's about balancing unity and diversity, national goals, and regional needs. This move by Tamil Nadu is certainly a significant moment in that ongoing evolution of India's federal dynamics, something we'll need to keep watching.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Lots to think about there.